Over 2,500 years ago, in 460 BC, the birth of Hippocrates ignites a flame of revolutionary medical knowledge. A flame that, despite all odds, stands the test of time.
More than just a middleman, how Hunayn ibn Ishaq revived the world of ancient medicine.
The key to the preservation of this ancient knowledge is a man named Hunayn ibn Ishaq, a physician and translator who lives during the Islamic Golden Age. Hunayn acts at a time of desperation, preventing the work of Hippocrates from vanishing forever. But Hunayn does not work alone. Hunayn is the central link in a chain of ancient scientists who work tirelessly to help their contemporary citizens to better understand their world and their bodies. This is the tale of the couriers of medical knowledge and advancement who preserve and feed this flame and, in doing so, form an unbreakable chain that ties many of our modern medical practices back to the ancient Greeks, Romans, and Arabs.
Hunayn ibn Ishaq is born around 809 AD in Kufa. However, this is not where the story begins. It begins with a spark of medical knowledge in ancient Greece. Born in 460 BC, Hippocrates thrives in the Greek culture that places high value on knowledge and education. The doors are open for Hippocrates to explore the previously unknown world of medical science. Eventually known as the father of medicine, Hippocrates proposes the idea that illnesses are not in fact caused by the gods as previously believed, but stem from natural causes that can be studied, understood, and treated.
His medical works were soon recognized as like a step ahead of everything else, so they spread widely.
While Hippocrates dies in 377 BC, his legacy of profound contributions lives on in the hands of Galen of Pergamum, the next link in the chain. Galen, a Greek physician born in 129 CE, expands upon numerous works of Hippocrates, particularly the Book of Epidemics, including Regimen in Acute Disease, which discusses symptoms experienced by the ill, the Aphorisms, which examines recommended diet, and the Prognostics, which discusses symptoms of diseases and how certain ones terminate. In addition to contributing to our modern-day understanding of the nervous system, Galen explores hydrocephalus, a condition resulting in an increase of brain fluids. Galen sees his work as a continuation of Hippocrates and expands upon Hippocrates' foundation, taking it to the next level of sophistication. However, this era of growth and prosperity in Greece comes to an abrupt halt, and the flame wanes with the collapse of the Western Roman Empire. By 476 BC, the Western Roman Empire has collapsed, and Western Europe is spiraling downward. As it continues to decline throughout the early medieval period, commonly referred to as the Dark Ages, the chaos of this era smothers much of the knowledge developed by the Greeks and Romans. Fortunately, a new era of peace and prosperity is sprouting in the Middle East.
With Caliph Al-Mamun in power, people are sent out on missions to obtain famous Greek texts,
including those of Hippocrates and Galen. Among those seeking and preserving wisdom is Hunayn ibn Ishaq. Fortunately, Hunayn is born as the religion of Islam is gaining momentum, calling on people to better their understanding of the world around them, as the Quran states.
He grants wisdom to whom he pleases, and he to whom wisdom is granted receives indeed a benefit overflowing. But none will grasp the message but men of understanding.
As the Arab Empire grows rapidly, a time of expansion and growth takes place during the Abbasid dynasty from 750 to 1258, and a translation movement begins to take roots in the city of Baghdad. This epicenter of translation serves the purpose of preserving and expanding upon precious Greek texts as Europe plunges into the medieval period. Not only does Hunayn take these Greek texts and translate them into Arabic, making them available to the people of the Middle East, but he contributes his own ideas to these works. Hunayn ibn Ishaq is born around 809 to an apothecary as the Islamic Golden Age is rapidly gaining momentum. Living at a time when expansion of knowledge is encouraged, as well as growing up around a father familiar to the medical world and who encourages Hunayn's pursuit of medical knowledge, his passion for medicine grows. He studies medicine in Baghdad as a young man, attending the earliest known private school of medicine. After leaving the school for 2 years, he returns to Baghdad with a priceless gift, a full understanding of the Greek language. Utilizing his extraordinary language abilities, Hunayn translates about 95 works of Galen into Syriac and about 35 into Arabic. Hunayn ibn Ishaq translates and contributes to Galen's annotations of Hippocrates' original text, facilitating this expansion of knowledge from one person to another. Hunayn worked tirelessly to construct the collection of best-preserved Greek works to translate. Ishaq traveled to Syria, Palestine, and Egypt to collect these works and then compare the different manuscripts. Not only a successful physician studying the treatment of the eye, Hunayn elaborates on Hippocrates' ideas through 17 annotations in epidemics, as well as in many other instances.
Was a physician, so when he took these texts and translated them, he actually approached them as a practicing physician. He was interested in practical knowledge to use for his own practice, for his colleagues, and so on. And that makes his translations especially valuable because he knew what he was talking about. He really did.
In epidemics, 5 of these annotations, Hunayn clarifies and explains particular terms used, often referring to the original Hippocratic works.
2 of Hunayn's notes address the philosophical components of the works, and the following 2 notes discuss the parts he chose to remove.
Hunayn's contributions provide regions from Spain to Samarkand with knowledge of this medicine.
Hunayn dies in 873 AD. However, his legacy lives on.
Islam then begins declining, the flame of knowledge facing near death yet again.
This translation movement soon takes a new face with the birth of Constantine the Afghan in the Tunisian city of Kairouan in 1017, as the torch is passed on.
Very little is known about Constantine, although many speculate that he traveled to Baghdad to further his medical knowledge. After returning home, he comes in contact with those involved in medical schools and institutions in his hometown. It is here that he acquires the Arabic versions of the works of Hippocrates and Galen, among other medical texts. He then embarks on a journey to Salerno, Italy, which at the time is a cultural melting pot and the epicenter of a new era of translation. The translated and annotated work of Hunayn ibn Ishaq allows for the furthering of medical knowledge in the West that plays a major factor in sparking the Western Renaissance of the 1300s to the 1600s, influencing medicine forever. Between the 14th and 17th century, a medical textbook including regimen and acute diseases, the aphorisms, and the prognostics, among other works of Galen and Hippocrates, could be found in the hands of every physician.
Especially these translations, is that very early on they were put together into a compilation and used as a medical textbook. So these weren't just translations that were sort of transmitted willy-nilly, but they were put together and became the standard textbook for medicine very early on. In like 40, 50 years, within 40, 50 years of them being translated, they were the standard medical textbooks.
Hunayn, after reviving this knowledge from near destruction, paves the future of medicine. It is not until around the 16th century that some of the theories of Galen and Hippocrates are proven inaccurate. However, it would not have been without the translations of Hunayn, who preserved the knowledge of the Greco-Roman world, that there would have even been a foundation for Western Europe to build upon and expand from.
One is, if you ask if Galen and Hippocrates are still interesting to modern physicians as physicians, then of course the answer would be no, because their understanding of the human body, of anatomy, of illnesses and healing are so different from ours and are so removed, so remote from our point of view, that as medical texts they're not relevant to us today. But they are very relevant because this is the starting point for Western medicine.
It is due to the hard work of Hunayn, who preserves this spark of knowledge and nourishes it, picking it up when it is near extinguished, leaving it blazing brightly, that such medical knowledge could have been available to the West. It would have not been without this chain of brilliant medical minds that these Greek works could have lasted centuries into the future, having a long-lasting effect on the world of medicine. With Hunayn as the key link, physicians across time are able to join together in a fascinating manner to preserve this blazing flame of knowledge for generations to come, hand in hand.